It is 3 a.m. Your backyard is dark. The feeder is empty and still. The yard you know, the one full of wings and chirping and movement, looks like it has been completely abandoned. If you walked outside right now, you would hear almost nothing. You would see almost nothing. You would probably go back inside thinking your birds are just asleep somewhere, safe, resting. But here is what nobody ever tells you. Right now, in the darkness above your yard, something is happening that most people will never witness in their entire lives. Your birds, the same ones that eat from your hand, that fight over the feeder at dawn, that you have watched for years, are living a secret life so extraordinary, so physically impossible by almost every rule of biology, that scientists who study it still shake their heads. And tonight, you are going to see it. Stay with me until the end of this video, because the last revelation, what is actually passing over the roof of your house right now at this very moment, is going to change the way you look at your backyard forever. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, I want you to do that right now. Hit that button before you forget, because this is exactly what we do here. We pull back the curtain on the hidden world your birds are living in. The secret life happening just outside your window that most people walk right past every single day. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Subscribe now, and let's get into this. Let's start with what you think you know. You think your birds sleep at night, and they do, sort of. But the way a bird sleeps is nothing like the way you sleep. You shut down. You surrender. You go somewhere your body has to recover from. A bird's sleep is something else entirely. It is a controlled, strategic, almost military operation designed for survival in a world that never fully stops being dangerous.
Take the chickadee, that tiny bird at your feeder, the one that weighs less than 2 pennies, does something at night that would be considered a medical miracle if a human being did it. It drops its own body temperature, on purpose. Every single night, a chickadee can lower its internal temperature by up to 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit in a process called regulated hypothermia. It is not sick, it is not dying, it is saving energy so precisely and so efficiently that scientists have spent decades trying to understand how something so small survives a winter night at all. Think about that for a second. That little bird on your feeder tomorrow morning, the one that seems so cheerful, so unbothered, spent the night doing something your body could never survive. And it did it alone, in the dark, in the cold, without complaint. But chickadees don't just battle the cold alone. They hide food. You've probably seen it, that quick darting behavior where one lands at your feeder, grabs a seed, and immediately flies off instead of eating it. It's not being shy. It's building a pantry. A chickadee can remember the locations of thousands of individual food caches. Thousands! Stored in different trees, different branches, different spots across your yard and beyond. And here's what makes it almost unbelievable. Their hippocampus, the memory center of the brain, actually grows larger in the fall to handle this. The bird physically rewires its own brain to survive the winter. And then, come spring, it shrinks back down. Your backyard bird is literally rebuilding its brain twice a year. And if that alone doesn't make you want to stick around, because trust me, where we're going next is even bigger, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss a video like this one. We go this deep every single time. Now, let's talk about what is happening to your birds that don't stay put. Because while the chickadee and the cardinal and the tufted titmouse are tucked into dense thickets close to your yard tonight, there are other birds you've seen at your feeder just weeks ago, who right now are somewhere over your head, doing something so physically brutal, it has no real human equivalent. Migration at night. Most people don't know this. Most people picture birds migrating in great visible flocks during the day, and yes, that happens. But the majority of songbird migration in North America happens at night, in the dark, in silence, while you are sleeping. Tonight, if you could look up through your roof and see the sky the way radar can, and meteorologists actually do track this, you might see hundreds of thousands of birds passing over your house, maybe millions depending on the season. Warblers, thrushes, sparrows, tiny birds, most of them weighing less than a handful of grapes, flying through darkness at altitudes of 1,000, 2,000, sometimes 3,000 feet, using stars, using magnetic fields buried in the earth, using cues scientists are still working to fully understand. A ruby-throated hummingbird, an animal that weighs less than a nickel, crosses the entire Gulf of Mexico in a single non-stop flight. 500 miles over open ocean at night, alone. No land, no rest. That is the equivalent of a human being running back-to-back marathons while holding their breath in the dark with nowhere to stop. And some of these birds, they flew over your feeder, they ate your sugar water, and then they left and did that. Let that settle in. Because now I want to bring you back to your yard, back to 3 a.m., back to the quiet. That stillness you see when you look out your window at night, it is not emptiness, it is not absence, it is concealment. The birds are there, tucked into the holly bush by your fence, pressed against the bark of your oak tree in positions that make them nearly invisible to anything hunting in the dark. They are not gone. They are hidden in plain
sight, doing the extraordinary work of simply staying alive, conserving every calorie, sleeping in short cycles, never more than a few minutes at a time, always listening, always ready. One rustle in the leaves and they are awake. One unfamiliar shadow crossing the moon and every bird in that thicket knows it. Your yard at 3 a.m. is not asleep. It is holding its breath. And above it, right now, tonight, the sky over your neighborhood is a highway, a silent, invisible river of birds moving across a continent in darkness, guided by light they can see with their eyes that you cannot, by magnetic forces running through the ground beneath your feet, by stars that have guided them for thousands of years before a single feeder was ever filled. You put out seed. You filled the feeder. You thought you were doing something small. You weren't. You were placing a rest stop on one of the greatest journeys in the natural world, a light in the dark for something trying to survive the impossible.
And if this is the kind of thing that moves you, if you look at your backyard and feel like there's always something more just beneath the surface, then you are exactly who this channel is for. Subscribe right now. Every week we go deeper into the hidden world of your birds, and I promise you it only gets more incredible from here. So tomorrow morning, when your birds come back to your feeder at first light, when the chickadee lands and looks you dead in the eye before grabbing its seed, I want you to really look at it. Because that bird just survived the night in a way that took millions of years to perfect, and it came back to you. I want to ask you something, and I genuinely want to know your answer. Leave it in the comments below, and I read every single one. Have you ever been outside in your yard late at night and heard something in the dark that you couldn't quite explain? A rustle, a soft call, something moving through the trees? You might have been closer to this hidden world than you ever realized.